What up, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Just gonna wait. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, dude. All right. Whew. We are waiting for just a few minutes for I2P to kind of get a little bit more connections and reliability. That is the good thing about I2P is the longer it runs, the more efficient it's run. Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, that's where it is. Oops. Do. Hmm. Do. Man. Maybe that's it. Who? Do. Wow, that's gay. Always remember that Dynamic Window Manager. Why is XMR chat link not on the description of the live stream? Because it doesn't need to be on the description anymore. It needs to be in the thing. Wow. EFF has an EAP site. You should go there. Yeah, EFF good. EFF based. You always have to kind of wait a little bit with I2P. I was just setting up a netbox. It's pretty cool. It's like truth of source networking. I'm going to have to dig deep into the documentation for this. Pretty awesome. I'm getting more and more stuff set up. Right now I'm using about 18 gigs of RAM out of about 90 gigs, about 800 gigs of storage out of 8 terabytes, and then only 1% of my CPU with my 3 nodes. It's pretty based. We will check out the EFF though. I do love the EFF. They're pretty based. Netbox is pretty cool. It seems, I don't want to say it seems like overkill for what I'm doing. I'm trying to get that as much documentation and monitoring as up as much as possible. I have Uptime Kuma with notifications sent to 2 different forms of notifications like that I have running. And I want at least from January 1st, 2026 to December 2026, I want to see if I can get 99.999% reliability, or like just I want to get an insane reliability. That'd be kind of cool. Right now I'm at 92, 97, and then 100 with my cluster. My Proxmox cluster hasn't gone down. I wish I give more stats, like more reliability, like for everything. It's the bottom right to the top left. It's bottom right to top left. What the fuck? The way you phrased that was kind of goofy, but. The cool thing is with the I2P2 is it's pretty easy. I would like to check out the Go version. Stormy Cloud said answered me essentially. And was like, hey, there's this cooler implementation of it. And then I just got my Jet KVM in as well. Can you run I2PD on the Proxmox cluster or no? I could. It would be, I wouldn't say silly. There just wouldn't be much use because then I would just add another hop. I mean, you can run an I2P node anywhere and connect to it because it can broadcast across your whole network, and then it would make it run longer because it runs longer. It will make it more efficient. Like I2P really benefits from consistent running. So generally on my main PC, I just run it in the background. It doesn't really have a lot of impact on my system, and the longer I run it, like, the better it becomes. So right now, what am I using? I'm using 13 gigs of RAM. I gotta start using that swap, baby. These RAM prices be dicking me down. And then, you know, internet, etc. My CPU is never like super insane. Just kill B-top. Could not establish. So it looks like it looks like they're. Or your router is not yet well integrated with peers, you may want to retry. If you leave this page open, it will automatically retry the website every 15 seconds till failed connection. Okay, we'll just do that. The great RAM shortage of 2025. We're going to have a great RAM shortage. Guys, swap memory is going to become cool in 2026 again. Everyone says, like, oh, you don't need to do swap memory. Well, while I gotta be careful because I don't want to expose anything with my tunnels. That is, let's see. Let's go to Mojang. See if it's actually working. My PC rebooted. Did you see Jeff Geerling run GPUs on the Pi? Yeah, of course. He does a lot of interesting stuff with the Raspberry Pi. To be completely honest, his IQ is like through the roof with Raspberry Pis. He got me into clustering, unironically, like looking at clusters. I really wanted the Raspberry Pi cluster. The Turning Pi is one, but it's just so expensive for what it does. It's like I could just do clustering myself on what I got at a fraction of the cost. I will say though, oh nice, Mojang. Shit might not be working. Uptime 4 seconds. Bandwidth in and out. Current 0. Oh. Maybe I need to configure bandwidth. Oh, come on. Yeah, let's do. Look at all that. Yeah. If I could hit 30 terabytes of data transfer every month, that'd be fucking amazing. I hate my ISP anyways. Yeah, it seems like I'm not reachable. Maybe there's not enough peers connected. Active 34. High capacity 126. Unreachable 32. Band 128 known. Let me just see. Your transport connection limits are automatically set based on your configured bandwidth to override these limits. Okay, so my next let's see, graphs. Okay. My next thing I'm going to be adding is going to be, damn, already 135 peers. My next thing I'm going to be adding is going to be my NTP server. I believe I'm going to do that tomorrow because I got my KVM now. I take back everything I said mean about a KVM. Completely worth it. I'm just going to be 3D printing a case for it to go into my rack, which would be kind of smart. The only thing I wish they did do, kind of, is give me micro KVM cord to like micro to micro, I guess, or make it like large on the other one. I don't know. Yeah, right now let me see the what's the stats? Bandwidth. I think the most data I've used in a month was close to like 20 terabytes. It was like pretty insane. I was doing a lot of downloading games and stuff, and I was like and then I was seeding a lot of Linux ISOs to the world because I was like, everyone needs to have access to Linux ISOs. So that was kind of funny. The cool thing is I can do a web server on I2P. I'm not really good with what do you call it? HTML stuff. Should be good now. So there's also a Go version of this as well too, but I'm not really good with I2P stuff. Not I2P, HTML stuff, but I will maybe take my blog that monocle mode is badass. A true suckless person. I'm not gonna really do. I'm not good with HTML, but like maybe I'll take my blog because it's written in Markdown. The majority of it's written in Markdown, and I'll put it on I2P. That'd be kind of cool. I will say though, there's a Go version of this apparently in development that Stormy Cloud brought to my attention. Maybe I can. No, I gotta go to Twitter. It's Go I2P, yeah. Let's see if we can go there now. Let's do something I've known. Cake? Discuss Hackaday. I think one of those two should work. But while that's loading, this is kind of like the benefit of I2P is it doesn't rely on like a central authority besides like maybe the company to like a certain discrete. Oh, nice. My backup failed. I need to get notifications on failed backups working. Maybe I can. Failed from storage config. What the fuck? Okay. Let me... if I can do that. I keep adding services, so my backups are gonna be kind of funny. The website loaded, I believe, finally. Hopefully. Okay. Nope. Yep. Nope. So... yikes, that is not good. Natter? Where's Bob? Well, not Bob. I know the Guardian works, and I know not Bob works. There we go. So if these motherfuckers don't work, then something's wrong with my I2P. So there's a Go version of this that's maintained, actually. True, YouTube exclusive here, again, since the cat meowed. The website loaded, I believe, finally. This is like kind of the problem with I2P in the beginning. It's very slow to work. So it kind of probably irritates people. But it's the Go implementation of the I2P router protocol usable with NTCP2, I2CP, and I2P control. Complete I2C protocol server, full session lifecycle management, message routing, and client support. End-to-end message routing, complete message routing system, tunnel system. Lots of things. Verbosity, fast fail mode. Is in active development. We recommend completed several significant milestones, including. I wonder who's doing this. Oh, it's just Go I2P. That's very public. Website unreachable, website unreachable. Interesting. I don't know what's going on with... You know what? It might be something in my settings. Interesting. It's not my settings. Default. Maybe I should turn that off. Nope, we're good. Those websites are just cooked, as I would say. And maybe I'm good now. I have 32 active, 39 fast, high capacity 55, flood fill 49, band 149, unreachable 49. Oh, wow. Here, look at this background for a second, because like I said, I want to make sure I protect the peers. Reseeding web. Reseeding is the bootstrapping process to users to find other routers when you first install I2P. Whether your router has future routers recently, change. If reseeding has failed, how do I reset manually? Oh, this looks like a federal agent picture. Oh, where's the plugins? Services, web server, torrents. The cool thing is you can torrent stuff disabled in your browser. If page refresh is enabled, you would lose them. Okay. It is kind of interesting. So, like with I2P, is there's a lot of it's really It's a really interesting site. You can make it somewhat very resilient and allow you to interact with most of the fucking internet without the central authority of Tor. Tor's problem is it chooses the nodes for you, and it has a list of these nodes that I think it trusts, and that's where some of Tor's issue with in the decentralized way, and that's like huge quotes on that, but the decentralized nature of Tor makes it appealing, and the ease of the browser makes it appealing, but that takes away from the project. So, there's pros and cons to that perspective. I don't really understand. At first, I didn't really understand, like, well, why doesn't I2P Foundation just make a browser, like, and integrate it? But I think it's because it just will take away from their active development. And that's really the answer that people don't want, but that's fine. My issues with Tor mainly arise from a few things, and it's always that the Tor Foundation has a lot of say in what happens and what doesn't happen. It's not the funding necessarily, because I think people that complain about funding is like, just take your money and fund them. If your issue is funding, donate to the project. That's my perspective. I think you should donate to projects that you use and like, instead of spending money on proprietary software that doesn't respect your freedom and doesn't respect your privacy. Like, imagine paying for something and then them selling your data on top of it. That's insane. Like, you'd be pissed. That's getting taxed like twice. That's a double tax. Why not use HPDS? Are you asking this as a genuine question? Because if you are, I will answer it. If you do, like, if you are asking as a genuine question, if you don't know how I2P works, I'll explain it. It'll tickle your balls, kind of. And it's kind of interesting too, because you see that scary sign. Please explain. So what a lot of people don't know is when you go to I2P sites and Tor onion sites, you don't need HTTPS because it encrypts the traffic anyways. It encrypts the tunnel encrypts everything. Everything is essentially encrypted in itself. And on top of it, your what's the word I'm looking for? Your traffic is anonymized anyways, so it doesn't need the fancy SSL certifications that the regular internet needs. This is why when you go to a Tor site and you don't need to the whole lock thing doesn't really matter. This is what the browser is doing because it assumes modern browsers today assume that things aren't secure. And ironically, it is secure, and there's no way or purpose to input a form of encryption between your browser and these decentralized services. The routing protocol kind of does it for you already. It's kind of interesting. And there's even a... Well, I'm not going to find it on here, actually. Because it's going to lead me to... So, I2P is more of an intranet. In layman's terms, is more of an intranet. It is not meant to go out to the public internet. Now, there's proxies that do this, but they kind of advise against it. There's no purpose. Accidentally broke my X server trying to get a title of see the title of terminal. Oh, accidentally broke my X. That's funny. Glad I didn't miss anything. So Tor is kind of like, hey, we're going to lead you to the public internet. There are some maybe privacy problems with this because anything that runs out of an exit node could be problematic, and you have to take it at face value that you are trusting the exit node. But we'll lead you to the internet, and no one will know your IP address or what you're kind of visiting. I2P is more of an intranet. That intranet is more of hey, where do you want to go? We're going to lead you there, and don't worry, it's encrypted. But it's the service has to be, it's not really proxied to the internet, if that makes sense. And we'll pull it up. We're pulling up, yo. So it's kind of interesting. Don't worry, restarting TWM unborked it. Nice. You should always unbork things in perspective. So I2P's encryption is kind of interesting. So the network at a glance is made up of a set of nodes, routers. Everyone is the router, where Tor picks the router for you. I2P, everybody is the router. Routers with a number of unidirectional inbound and outbound virtual paths, tunnels as the outline of the tunnel routing page. Each router is identified as a cryptographic router, which is typically long-lived. These routers communicate with each other through existing transport mechanisms, obviously TCP and UDP. TCP being like the more TCP is like the transport like protocol for like stuff that is like very serious and like we need reliability, but it's slower. UDP is more like video, like we don't care about reliability, we just need to kind of like blast it. Various messages. Client applications have their own cryptographic identifiers, destinations, which enables it to send and receive messages. These clients can connect to any router and authorize the temporary allocation, the lease. It's kind of interesting. So the network itself makes use of significant number of cryptographic techniques and algorithms, a full laundry list of including 248-bit L-gamma encryption, 256-bit AES, and CBC mode with PKCS #5 padding, 124-bit DNS signatures, and SHA-256 hashes. Simple to understand. Now, the reason when you look up something and it has that lock SSL is because most of the internet for a very, we're not on SSL anymore, by the way, we're on TLS, but that's not the point. For a very long time, the internet wasn't encrypted and it scared people. You could technically probably design an internet with no lock in the corner and kind of hide it from people, and it could be encrypted the entire way and you would never know. And people go on. Diffie-Hellman mentioned, for real. Diffie-Hellman mentioned, for real, a very based type of cryptographic scheme too, as well. But you could do, and there's an even like deeper layer. Like you could, I mean, if you look at Superfish was a man-in-the-middle attack. It was doing self-signed certificates, but it tricked people into thinking what they were like looking at was end-to-end encryption, like everything was encrypted in between, when it really wasn't. That's a more complicated history of how the internet kind of works. You could even, you right now could get the appropriate hardware and make your own certificate authority. There's nothing that's stopping you. You could become your own certificate authority and serve self-signed certificates to yourself on your local area network, and that would essentially allow you to put SSL on everything and be your own self-signed certificate authority. There's tons of guides out there. It's actually not super difficult. It's kind of cool, but I2P is end-to-end I2CP encryption. Client application to server application was disabled in I2P release 0.6. End-to-end garlic encryption, I2P client router to I2P server from Alice's router to Bob's or H remains. Notice the difference is in terms all data from H is end-to-end encrypted, but I2PC connections between I2P routers and the applications is not end-to-end encrypted. The H, A, and H are the routers of Alice and Bob, while Alice and Bob following the chart applications of running I2P. The specific use of these algorithms are outlined elsewhere. The two main mechanisms for allowing people who need strong anonymity use the network are explicitly delayed garlic routing messages and more comprehensive tunnels, including support for pooling and mixing messages. These are currently planned for 3.0, but garlic routed messages with no delays and FIFO tunnels are currently in place. Additionally, 2.0 release allow people to set up operated behind restricted routers. Some questions have been raised regards with the scalability of I2P, and reasonably so. You know, there's lots and lots and lots of things that are done and not done for whatever reason. Essentially, we compare this to Tor. Again, why you don't need to use a VPN or Tor or anything with SSL with anything with it. Tor uses multiple layers of encryption to ensure anonymity, a process known as onion routing. Each layer of encryption corresponds to a relay node in the Tor network, and the message is encrypted in reverse order of the nodes it will traverse. Typically, a message is encrypted in 3 layers, one for each of the 3 nodes. In the client, the entry node, the middle node, and the exit. The original message, such as HTTP request, is the first encrypted with the key of the exit node, and then with the key in the middle node, and then finally the key with the exit entry node. This creates a multi-layer encryption packet or onion, and it is transmitted through the network. And by doing it in this scheme, again, you don't need to see these fancy locks in the corner. You don't need to even incorporate HTTPS because it's encrypted each layer. Now, obviously, there are more very complicated, advanced network schemes where you can be attacked. This is mainly time-basing attacks, or if you control all 3 nodes and like you're a federal government, you need to make sure that you have good OPSEC paired with good good tools. Tooling can only get you so far. If it's kind of like a Monero node wallet, a Monero wallet. If you have a Monero wallet and you're telling a stranger that you just met 3 minutes ago, or if you have a Bitcoin wallet and you're like, I have 5,000 Bitcoins in this wallet, they're probably most likely not going to beat the shit out of you until you give them the passphrase to open it, because they're breaking your hands. This is the $5 wrench method, is what they say. Obviously, this can be solved with you just, hopefully that you carry a firearm on you, just shoot him. But you shouldn't be telling anyone anyways. I mean, how much XYZ you have in your wallet. They could beat your legs in until you give up the passphrase. Then the passphrase, now they have access to the passkey, etc., etc. You kind of had bad OPSEC. Even though the piece of equipment has really good encryption, your OPSEC kind of like ruined the purpose of this encryption. Encryption and security can only go so far. But if you're in a hostile network and they don't know who Bob is, it doesn't really matter at that point. That's kind of like the point of learning good operational security. Have multiple lives. Lie on the internet. Lie to people. Lie to people that don't matter. Lie on lie on things that aren't going to get you in trouble. I mean, that's essentially what you're trying to do, is to create a persona, etc., etc. And the easiest way to kind of get people to understand this at a fundamental level is think about it when you go out with your friends out of the country or to a bar. You could just make up an identity to meet people, maybe get laid or whatever. Take that concept and apply it to real life, like just online. Like just make shit up. It doesn't matter. The people that know who you are all that matter, and the people that have information about you that you want to know, all that matters. You don't have to be honest with silly stuff like this. First, to like the live stream. Oh, thanks, Billy. I appreciate it. But I think that's the mistake a lot of people make, is they live in that perspective. But definitely, I2P is very cool. So, this is not Bob Live. This is where they have, not Bob, I2P has tons of sites. Kind of like where they're hosted, etc., etc. And where you can kind of see like where stuff is. It's kind of like a list. It's like the hidden wiki, I guess. It's okay. Cat's here for real. All right, 1 second, guys. I'm gonna go get some some water. Okay, but that's kind of cry for me. I2P. The fuck? That's the kind of cool part. Is it? Okay, it's up. The cool part of I2P is not only it's more of a intranet. You don't have to choose the browser that Tor picks for you. You can attach this to any browser. Now, fundamentally, Firefox is the preferred option because it gives you a little bit more control. It's easier. I'm not a fan of Firefox. I'm more of a, I don't want to say Chromium, but Chrome-based browsers because I think they offer a slight security advantage over Firefox. I don't really like Mozilla, to be completely honest, either. I think Mozilla is kind of like a shithole. It also allows you to look into the future of like we really don't have like good alternatives, and I think security should be put above all to a certain degree. And Firefox just keeps shitting the bed. They keep backtracking stuff, and they also took a lot of money from Google to be one of their default search engines. I don't understand why people kind of like Firefox in general, to be completely honest. But the good thing is because it's free and open source, you can fork it. Now Mozilla, the shithole company that it is, could backtrack all this and just be like, you know what, we don't care, no more forking. Or they could put an insane license on there that makes it harder and more difficult to operate. You know, at user, obviously that would be not good. But at the same time, there's not really a lot of options out there. Ladybird does look promising because it's truly an independent browser. So maybe we will Deep Web Dungeons. Maybe we'll see a cool browser in 2026 or in the future. Maybe we'll go into Deep Web Dungeon. If he'll do it, or docs get money I2P. Oh, nice. Yeah, I need to learn how to use swap though. About an hour mark. See ya. Later, Billy. Appreciate you stopping by. You got to remember to be here for the New Year's stream. That's gonna be the peak, so that YouTube knows that I am not only a real person but based. Okay, are we getting there? Are we getting somewhere? And I think the thing about it is a lot of I2P sites are kind of like inactive. I do want to Fox Girls I2P, but I'm worried. Fox Dick Chan. What a genius name. 9 hours, 15 minutes, seniors. That's true. Wait, are you in Australia or something? 9 hours. The fuck? Are you right? Are you sure? How many hours until 2025? 2026, I mean? Yes, Australia. Oh. Your shit does say fucking AUS. Wow. That's crazy. Sorry to hear that. Honestly, like Australian people are almost the closest thing you can get to like how they're almost American in personality, but their country's like a shithole. Cause every time I meet an Australian person, yeah, it's pretty fucked. Like, and I'm not saying like it's a shithole in terms of like monetary policy, just on a global like. Look at what they happened. They ban guns. These psychopathics get guns, and then there's nothing that people can do. Like they had a pretty gnarly shoot, and America's not like the best example for like gun problems, but damn. It's just a point to point out that them banning guns has done nothing. Like they get I mean, we got, like I said, we got some problems we got to figure out, man. But that's crazy. Somebody just went on a beach and was just like, bah, 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 bah. And then enforcing kids to identify themselves to use the fucking internet is absolutely bonkers. What a retarded thing to even do. Enforcing some form of digital, it's like crazy. And what's crazy is, I think New Zealand, you're allowed to own guns. Which isn't like New Zealand a part of Australia? They're like right next to each other, right? I could be wrong. I'm geographically challenged. Everybody be polite as fuck in Texas, though. Nah, Texas has some pretty bad. Texas has some pretty bad issues. America's problem with guns is mainly the lack of research, education, and I believe a big part of it is when you look at like G1 countries that are like that do have strong gun ownership, is the lack of training, education. I don't think training is going to fix everything, but America's got a lot of issues that it needs to sort out. I mean, it could be it's part of its financial issues. Like, if the more financial problems you have in your country, higher crime rates can happen. We were allowed to own guns until the false flag in 1984. Port Arthur was used to take at. Yeah, I think I'm somewhat aware of it. Like, you guys had a big. You pretty much guys had one bad oopsies. Not that like I embraced that this to happen. It's not a good thing. I don't embrace it. It's kind of fun. Yeah, a big oopsie daisy happened in your country, and then they're like, all right. And I would kind of consider them red flag laws because I would consider them red flag laws because just because one person does something bad doesn't mean that everyone should be punished. Like responsibility. If I like. I don't want to use cars because I think cars is a really bad argument. Cars have a utility thing. The problem with the people on the right, and this is just my point of view, they bring up cars, but cars has one really a utility, and the utility of cars is people generally use them to transport stuff and go places. That's my problem with it. I think it's a negative, ignorant way to view it because people aren't going to care about the car argument. It's also just a bad argument in general. But what is a good argument is that I think self-defense should be a constitutional protection. I think people should have the right to defend themselves with the tools that are available. Banning guns is the equivalent of banning swords and or knives and or anything that was available to everyone at the time and allowed to make. So when you disallow people to actively have a way to defend themselves, that's the problem. And are criminals going to obey gun laws? No, yeah, that's probably the best argument. Are criminals going to obey the laws? No, of course not. The car argument is stupid. The fact that people aren't going to have availability. If you remove the availability of something from someone, it doesn't make criminals do something less. We learned this through Prohibition. We learned this throughout human history. People are going to get access to these kind of things, regardless if they're legal and or not legal. It doesn't matter. I can go commit a crime and get. I can convert any of my firearms into a fully automatic weapon if I want to. I mean, there's plenty of dark markets and black markets out there. Someone will gladly take my money and not care what I do with it. Essentially, at the end of the day, and one of my biggest problems is with red flags laws is like the slippery slopeness of it. If you blame mental illness, what is mental illness? Anyone then can define mental illness. Like autism could be defined as a mental illness. Now we're going to disarm you and make you have an unfair advantage. Another part of it is I've thought about this like deeply and prospectively, and yeah, and are criminals going to obey the gun laws? Yeah. I think taking the ability for someone, again, the equivalence of taking away swords or armor or shields back in the 1940s. I'm not talking about the mass casualty part because we could point out anything. If I have a really good katana and enough time, I can do a lot of damage to people. Like I think people watch too many movies and they think that they can fight off a knife attack like it's nothing. I saw a really fucked up video of a guy that was crowded by like 8 to 15 people that were above his size, and he had just a pocket knife, like a very small minute pocket knife. He went to prison, thank God, because he was a piece of shit, and he kind of deserved it, and people were defending him at first, and then they got the full, obviously, don't defend people if they don't have the full context. But he's going away for life. He had a knife not even bigger than a finger, and he pretty much opened someone up, fucking intestines, and they spilled all over the ground and, well, in the water, and they died. And I'm talking about like a good 10 to 15 people were around this guy, and they started running. That's when crime happens. People aren't as insane where they're going to fucking start tackling down the assailant. That's not a thing that happens. That's another thing that people, I guess, forget. It's not an, I don't know. It's not an, when you're faced with like a threat or an adversary, you aren't going to be the fucking hero. Your general instincts is to run and hope that you don't die. And I think the FBI statistics say that like most crimes where firearms are released, like where they're discharged, it's less than like 5 bullets, and it's not even fired in most cases. Not even fired, and like again, like the mass shooting thing that happens at schools is like it's not a fucking good thing. Like I said, America needs some shit to figure out. People want to point to what the issue is, but they're just a bunch of grifters and a bunch of pussies. I mean, in my opinion. They're like, it's fatherless homes. Well, there's other countries with fatherless homes and they don't have nearly as much of a problem as us. So, I don't know what to fucking tell you. Or they're like, would you do this too if a car? Like, they just bring up car logic when cars have a utility and a different purpose. Guns only really have like a few, like 2 purposes to use and discharge, and that discharge generally ends in someone dying, or a thing dying behind it. Like it's just it's just retarded. Like that's my issue is with the left argument and the right argument. They're both kind of retarded at the end of the day. Guns are just kind of cool. I mean, my perspective, I think they're just cool and fun to use. I just like shooting. And they're kind of open source. Like if you think about it, like you can disassemble it and reassemble it, and you can print your own, which is kind of based, in my opinion. That's how I see it. And I wasn't really I wouldn't say I was pro gun. I wasn't really for guns for a long time, and then I had I would say like kind of like an awakening. I'm like, it's kind of dumb for me to think like that. What, do I want to become like Britain? And guns are just kind of fun. They're kind of neat. Whoa, KKKK, I2P. Interesting. That's an interesting site. Libre Solutions Network. Maybe this will pop out. I visited Sydney for a month. Where the fuck do you get a month off, Jay? What do you do for work where you could just take a fucking month off? Jason Nepo baby, guys. Confirmed. Damn, a lot of unreachable websites. Kind of strange. Oh, I was 22, bro, and single. Back for more, huh? Even at 22, that's crazy. Like, guys, I was 22 and I just took a month off. I couldn't imagine taking a month off. And what do you mean single? You could be like, you could have a partner and visit the internet and visit outside the world. I wish I could take a month off. Oh my god, that'd be awesome. I even asked my employer. I was like, "Yo, give me a fucking month." Netflix, I2P. Like, give me all my vacation time at the same fucking time. That'd be great. They're like, "Nah, you retarded." For real? Netflix has I2P. I want my winter their summer. Yeah, no thank you. Look, if they got tarantula snake hybrid combos, yeah, suck my balls on that one. Your winter, there's summer. God, absolute spooky. And I will say, like, I don't understand why America, like, is like this. Like, where it's like, you have, I went to Sydney, their summer, our winter. It was weird time change. Yeah, like, I don't understand, like, why in America it's, like, crazy to want, like, to take all your I think all employers should just give you whatever, if you want to take your entire vacation, like, you accumulated off for the fucking year, like, for, like, a month, fucking let them. Who cares? It's retarded to think that, like, it's kind of like chairs. Like, when people are like, you need to stand while you're at work. Sydney is almost like California, no offense. What do you mean, like, almost like California? Like, hot? That can mean anything. I'm doing like a... I don't get that California hate too. Like, California is not even that bad. There's worse states. Like Delaware. You went in 2009? That's crazy. Times are way different. Well, yeah, in 2009. But what do you mean by California? Like, I don't understand, I guess, like, the California hate. Only because California is not even that bad. And I've been there. There's way worse states. Like, North Carolina. That sounds like a shithole. Florida. Absolute fucking donkey. Donkey balls. Maybe we can get something over here. I'm trying to think of... Oh, okay, the Apostolic Bible fucking works. Americanized is what I meant. Oh, like American... Australia, like I said, Australia... Maybe you missed it. Australia is like... Australia's people are very like Americans. I have built... I lived in Santa Barbara via Chicago and love Florida. Oh, Chicago and I love Florida. You love Florida? God, no. That sounds just... I don't know. It just sounds like a terrible place to go. No cap. No hate to the Floridians. Okay. I have built a pipeline of local LLMs to run in Simplex with multi-user everything local. My Simplex Anon chat is literally running DP Hustle. Now I did everything in TypeScript. Denso very flux. Boo, TypeScript! I'm just humid. Heat is bad in Sarasota. So like, well, first, Americans and Australians are culturally the same people. So excited. Sorry, so excited. It was pretty hard for me to make, but no, it's very based, very cool. Always very based and cool when you can make something yourself. When I learned Bash, I was like, I did something in Bash, I was like, ah! My first time I wrote something in Python, I was like, oh my god! And it is based and cool because you take the time to learn something. Florida I don't know, man. It just looks unfun to me. It just looks like an unfun place. Maybe I just hate Florida. I hate all 50 states, though. So, like, my opinion on all 50 states is just, like, pure hatred. I would share this everywhere. Base, cool. Always share your projects. But the Australian people that I have met, minus the American feel, they're like American, but they're like very chill. They're like polite. They're like American, but polite. But they live on an entire continent that wants to kill that. Like, everything wants to kill you in Australia. There's a subreddit called Is It CGI or Australian? I'm not going to get anything. Australia or CGI? An entire subreddit. Because it's Australia. Snowbirds clog the roads. Heat in the summer. Air like soup, but I still love it here. I mean, respect. The snowbird thing is probably fucking annoying. Like, any tourist state sounds like hell. I stayed in a hostel to save money. Yeah, hostels are fine because you have balls. I stay at hostels because hostels are cheap and fine, and most of the time, most people don't use them, and most people, I pick the days like where they look like, they'll probably be empty, and then I just like, I did a hotel a few times, like going out abroad, and I'm like, what a waste. It's such a waste. Unless you want to visit like the entire city. I like exploring the whole entire place, like the continent. Like I said, if I could take a month off. Pink underwing moth caterpillar from... This fucking thing is real. You're like, guys, this looks like this looks like the CGI, but it's not. It's real, and it looks horrifying. What is this insect? This is why I don't fuck with Australia. That looks like foreskin, by the way. Activists, we need to save Australian wildlife. The Australian wildlife. Just bought my backpack and a week where's it close? Yeah. I didn't get to see kangaroos. Well, I don't think kangaroos are probably not. They're probably like just the only thing we could think of. They're probably the only thing we can think of. So we're like, kangaroos, mate. Sand fleas. God, that I would never put my hand in that. That can't be real. Somebody that's been to Australia, please tell me sand fleas. Please, someone from Australia, tell me if sand fleas are real. Is this a real thing? The subreddit's kind of dead, though. The last new one was from, don't tell me, 3 years ago. That's crazy. Crab getting eaten by something that looks like a... Oh, God. See, I'm glad I was not fucking born a crab, dude. Or like any of these species. This looks like absolute AIDS. I almost moved there full time. Did you meet someone? That's like somebody that just met somebody. They're like, guys, she's different. I met her on online. Yeah, no, thank you. Art installation with knitted hearts trees look more like a bug to me. Okay. That can't be real. It's not real, guys, right? It looks too... Yeah, it's fake. I almost moved there full time. Sorta. Yeah. There's no other reason you'd move to Australia full time. Yep, no thank you. Spiders are cool too. Spiders are cool. I have no problem with spiders, but goddamn. That doesn't look real. Hey, Fed. What's up, man? It's a huge cock right there. Any ideas? Fun this on the beach? I don't think I'd ever fish again after that. It's just pee. Someone didn't flush their fucking toilet? That's disgusting. Yo. I think it's... Yeah, I think it's like... There's like a lot of frogs and shit. Oh, man. I love Australian accents, though. They're funny. I could never understand a single Australian word. No cap, but just fun hearing them talk. More than... I don't like the British accent. I don't like really too many accents, but Australian I love. Like a fine mess. Like, he sounds like so more calm than he really should be. There's no way. There's no way you're not built different. Man, it's so cool. Only weird thing is that you need to open up the AIA's SimpleX alias account like a real person, but it makes it right, not a shitty Discord AI bot. And the local AI have human social life now. Oh, nice. Based. I didn't know SimpleX. Oh, I mean, I guess it makes sense. SimpleX can operate in that way. Huh. Okay. Productivity. Let's see what that says. Maybe incognito. Probably not. Unreachable. 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 Stormy. XMPP. My cat. WeP I2P. Washington Institute. Torn Freak. I2P, let's see. Is that up? Yeah. It says green. Oh, news. Introduction to Nihilism. Wow. Cloudflare reports surge in streaming piracy takedown rooms. Wow, that's actually kind of based and funny. What an interesting site name. Like your entire existence is torrenting. They have TypeScript SDK and bots to kick people from communities. I turned SimpleX into the most secure Olema model interface probably right now, and it also runs on my phone and everything local. Oh, nice. Minus the fact that they want to use the Ethereum network. That's their only. That's people's criticism is they said some goofy stuff on the internet. But it's open source. As long as it's open source, who cares? People can fork it. People can fork it if they have a problem, or just use a different service. Like my issue with main issues with Session was that they didn't have perfect forward secrecy, so I stopped using it. And I complained about it and then stopped using it. Okay. So the Premier League targets dozen of pirate streaming sites through Cloudflare subpoena. It is kind of interesting too to like even care about. Like, it's not Cloudflare. Cloudflare really isn't the problem with this. They're not like the the real issue. They're kind of just like the middlemen. And I'll even say this as Pirate Bay. Pirate Bay is not really like the problem. I could get these torrents no matter what. It doesn't really matter. That's depressing though. Stranger Things is the most pirated site. Stranger Things kind of sucks. No cap. I was never a fan. Property is back online. I guess we could see that. We could do that. Could look at some nihilism. All right. The top 10 most pirated movies. The most torrented movies for the week ending in December 29 are Zootopia 2. That's interesting. 7.6. Predator Badlands. Is that the Predator movie? The Running Man. Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Wake Up Dead Man. A Knives Out Mystery. I thought it would have been that fucking Avatar Fire and Ash. Tron. Are they talking about Now You See Me, Now You Don't? What a strange thing to pirate too. Oh, I thought that was that one fucking film. Yeah, with fucking Jesse Eisenberg. It's the first installation in New York. Now You See Me. Is the first installment of the Now You See Me film series featuring oh, apparently it's 2025. They made a 2025 version? Man, they really are running out of ideas. That is kind of lame. did this get released? Apparently it got 6 stars. That's crazy. The Running Man, Wake Up Dead, Knives Out Mystery, Newberg, One Battle for Another, Eternity Tron, the 10 most torrented movies of the week. Apparently, that's crazy. I don't get mad either because like all these streaming services are kind of not good. They're just not good. They like kind of like gate people and then like make it impossible to buy media, and they're kind of ruining. They're kind of ruining, like ownership. It's not a fun time to be into movies, is what I would say. I stopped Stranger Things season 3. That's fair. I stopped after season 2. It looked bad. It just looked. Season 2 was cool, and then I was like, this is gay. Out of 2K people, only 3 are watching. You should have emailed notifications. The live streams aren't to get insane like watch, like. They're not there to get like people to watch me live, like 2 to 3K. It's there so people can watch later. And I cringe at notifications. I don't even like Discord notifications, but start a blog. I have a blog. I cringe at the idea of sending out notifications to 2,000 people even. Can I get a showcase on your Discord? I'm proud, but it's made for people to use. I'm proud, but I actually made this for people to use and type of AI to use solving a cybersecurity function. Exactly. So why the fuck would people want to... why would people tune into their email? That would be worse. Yeah, I don't care. You can just put in the... as long as it's free and open source, you can put in the open source room. I just cringe at the idea of getting a notification. Like, my skin is crawling at the idea of being like, hey guys, join the live stream. Notifications. It's just a terrible idea. People can... My 3 goals is people can join when they want to, watch when they want to, subscribe when they want to, like when they want to, leave when they want to, unsubscribe when they want to, and that's it. Love you, man. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. As long as there's no malware. But then again, people should care about. People should think about before they download something. Discord. So like my logic and reasoning is, yeah, I have junk mail. Yeah, that sounds terrible. My logic and reasoning comes down to 3 points. Beyond that, if you get value from the content, it will lead you to thinking about what can I change in my life to switch to free and open source software that respect my privacy to a higher degree. That's it. That's simple. This is why I'm not on Rumble. I am, but like this is why I don't post and consume content in free and open source software platforms that respect your privacy already, because I think that that's counterproductive, and people already are aware of free and open source options. I go to places where it's proprietary software, doesn't care about you and respects your privacy or your decision making, and I put them in the position to think differently. That's it. That's my goal. That's why I would never do YouTube as YouTube is a job. It's a complicated business model. They take a lot of money from you, and then you have to pay taxes on that money. So to actually make money in YouTube is a very difficult task, because YouTube takes a good chunk of the revenue. It's a 70-30 split, and then you got to pay X amount of money to Uncle Sam over a certain threshold, unless you write everything off. But you have to actually understand how taxes work, so you got to hire a CPA. It's just a lot of work. It's not a lot of work for a lot of return. Being anti-YouTube in a privacy-focused channel with heavy quotes is the problem. It's a difficult business model because I don't like ads, so I encourage people to run an ad blocker. I don't like the idea of being privacy invasive, so even when I get to a monetization for like my videos, I'm not going to run 30 ads. I mean, you can choose how many ads you run on your YouTube channel. YouTube doesn't explicitly do this, but you can run ads. You can run one mid-roll ad, and be done. But I encourage people to run an ad blocker because I fucking hate ads. So it's not really, you don't like working? Of course not. I would love to have been born Jeff Bezos' child. I don't think anyone likes working. Working sucks. It's kind of gay. I also think that beyond the ad hating part, etc., I think people, once they find value and once they find alternatives, they don't really need to. They don't need to watch me again anymore. They can go on their own journey. It's like I'm fundamentally killing my own business. But you can control the ads that happen on YouTube, and you can control kind of like a lot of other things. It's kind of interesting. So like anytime you see a YouTuber that does like 8 minutes, and you get like 2 to 3 mid-roll ads, they kind of do it because they make more money. I think there's like even a creator I followed a long time ago, and they're like, oh yeah, I did a podcast episode, like an hour-long episode, and I got paid like 50, like an ungodly amount more than it was as if it was like a 5 to 10 minute video. They were saying like it was like an insane difference because YouTube cares about retention. What's on your Graphing daily driver phone? It depends what profile you're asking about. I'm gonna grab some more water, but yeah, I can make a video on it. But it kind of depends like what profile. I have 3 different profiles. All right, back. Show me all. Whew. Well, this is the point of why you should hate Cloudflare, and you should learn I2P. I2P allows torrenting. there's a place called restarti2p.com. That's funny. I'm sad it's under construction. Minimal content. Wow. Let me see what time it's in Australia. Wow, it's already December 31st. And it's like 4 p.m. in fucking Australia. Isn't that crazy? Like another fucking country could be just... Like another country could just be like fucking ahead of you. I forget the first country. I think it's Singapore. The first country to hit 2026 is going to be Kiribati within the Eastern Island. Kiribati, Samoa, New Zealand, Russia, Australia, these motherfuckers. Japan? It's not. It's not Japan. Japan's not even on there. Well, no, it is. It is. It's Fuji. But it's Kiribati. Local time when a new arrives. 12 a.m. January 1st. They're the first ones. It's called the Christmas Island. We like learning about time. We're learning about time because we're gonna be you eventually will run your own time server, guys. I believe in you. And if you can run your own time server, you'll be very based. Okay, let's see. Christmas is known as a Christmas Island, is in the Pacific Ocean atoll of the Northern Line Islands. It is a part of the Republic of Man. Flash flood warning. RIP. Yeah, if you go missing, let me know. It is part of the Republic of Kiribati. The name is derived from the English word Christmas, written in Gibraltar, according to its phonology, in which the combination T is pronounced is. Kermatis is one of the world's largest atolls in terms of island area, consisting about 121 square miles, an area of 328 kilometers, 120 square miles, network of lagoons that it's told about 150 in perimeter. While the lagoon shoreline extends for over 30 miles, Kermatis comprises over 7% of total land area. A country encompassing 33 Pacific atolls and islands. That is kind of interesting. It lies 144 miles north of the equator, south of Honolulu, and about 3,000 miles from San Francisco. It's the world's furthest forward time zone, UTC plus 14, and is therefore one of the first inhabited places on Earth to experience New Year's Day. See also total covered, although it lies 2,460, about 1,530 miles east of the 180th meridian. The Republic of Korea lies international date line in 1995, placing it at the west of the date line. By the way, bro, how come Brave has a free encrypted limitless video call feature now, and the retarded Brave Leo now lets you use a bunch of expensive AI models for free? Now you can use Claude even now. Probably because they make enough money in ad revenue, because people pay Brave to place ads on their site, and thus they take that money and probably invest it into their infrastructure. They also probably have enough paying subscribers in order to maintain production. You have to remember, just because I know we are all aware of if it is free, you are the product, but that's not necessarily all the case. If you make enough money in the beginning from your infrastructure, you benefit from people visiting the internet and being productive, thus making it more efficient. This is how kind of Bitwarden works. Bitwarden makes enough from their enterprise production and passwords don't really take up a lot of space, so they don't really care that someone comes in and uses a small amount of space to make sure that they benefit from higher security threat model, aka having better password hygiene. Interesting. Nuclear tests were conducted on and around by the United Kingdom in the late 1950s and by the United States in 1962. During these tests, the island was not evacuated, exposing the I2P residents, and the British, New Zealand, and Fujian servicemen to nuclear radiation. The entire island is a wildlife sanctuary, accessing it to 5 particularly sensitive areas and restrictions. What's the population? Only 7,000 people. That's crazy. That's crazy that your population is 7,000 people. Like, that's, I don't know, that's insane. I think also a lot of people buy Brave VPN. I would actually definitely buy Brave VPN if it was not stupidly expensive in my area. I don't know if it's taxed or something because Brave sells in local money. That could be it, or it could just be expensive. Yeah, I mean, a lot of things go into like they're probably. I mean, they could be just operating at an even or like a net loss, or they could just be operating at like a business cost where they're making enough money that it doesn't matter that they're offering these services for free. I mean, it could be just a slew of other things. I got osteoporosis. Can you offer your house for my servers for free? $8 a month. No, sorry, 9 with inflation. Offering free paid servers. What a interesting. They're in dispute over. Let's see the history. Free's better. Yeah, but then I have full access to your hard drives, and you don't want that. What if I put funny pictures on there? I don't think people who give OpenAI $500 on a weekend to build shitty games are retarded. No matter how much money they make, the generic AI expansions are. Yeah. I don't know. It's a kind of like a perspective though. Like if you spend all this money and you don't really make anything back, it kind of can suck. But I don't know. I think AI has its use case. Like instead of you like reaching out to like Stack Overflow and like figuring out like there's sometimes like like asking like AI can fix problems that are like faster, more efficient than sitting there and fucking like there's pros and cons. It's faster and efficient, but you lose some critical thinking skill. Like, if it's like simple stuff, like, I don't really care. Like, who cares? Like, as long as you retain your critical thinking to like ask the question the right way and like etc. etc. But I don't know. It's kind of complicated. Lily malware. I tried a popular free one on VS Code and curious when you toggle the switch it gave into the agentic ammo it goes burr full terminal commands immediately. Yeah, that's probably going to be the biggest problem is the malware that's probably going to come with it. People making insecure code too. That could be a part of it. Probably not good. I use a lot of AI. It is better than a browser for me right now. And I love AI. Obviously, it's just those agentic AI shit that's very... Yeah. You know, it's just depending on what you use your time with. I mean, that's kind of how I look at it. Alright guys, I will see you tomorrow. I've given 2 hours and 12 minutes of my time. Make sure to comment, like on the video so that YouTube knows I'm not only a real person, I love and respect all the rules. The rules are based and I have zero issues with the company. They have taught me nothing but better to better myself and better shareholder value. You got to remember that you got to love shareholder value. I'll see you guys in the stream tomorrow so we can launch ourselves into 2025. Don't forget to also feed and walk your snail. Otherwise, if you don't, you're gay. I'll see you later.